Presten mucha atención a este video. Voy a ir preguntándole al fundador y uno de los principales miembros del equipo de Nifty Island todo acerca del juego. Desde lo más básico de qué es, hasta su modelo económico y el modelo de negocio de la empresa, para ver cómo es que ellos van a ganar dinero. De forma que es por medio del token, no lo es, cómo ingresan plata. Todo está preguntado en la entrevista, presten atención, realmente vale la pena porque esta persona que van a ver ahora es uno de los líderes de los videojuegos Web3 en los próximos años. Nifty Island tiene todo para convertirse en el ROBLOX Web3. Okay, Charles, first of all, thanks for coming. I know you are pretty busy these days.
Oh yeah, great to be here. I really appreciate you having me, and no, we got to let people know about the game, and I appreciate you giving us a platform.
Yeah, and about that, I mean, tell me about the game. What's Nifty Island? A lot of my followers know about it, but maybe some of them don't. So, what is it?
Yeah, so it's a new type of game world built by players where everyone has their own island that's like their own custom play space. And it's a place you can build. You don't need to be a developer. You don't need to be a game creator. You can build your own custom space and then deploy endless custom games on top of it. And then you can share a link to your island and get people to visit. So imagine almost like Animal Crossing meets Halo Forge meets a social network combined, and it's all powered by Web3, by the best communities in crypto, by the best prizes in crypto. That's the name of the game. That's Nifty Island.
And why Web3? I mean, why didn't you do it like the traditional way?
There's a bunch of things we think that Web3 enables here. We really do believe Web3 enables far better consumer products. We just think it hasn't been fully tried yet. And so there's a few things it does. One, Web3 is the best communities on the internet, in my opinion. That might not be obvious to everyone today, but it will be. And we want to bring them in and bring their enthusiasm and their passion to the game. That's the hardest thing to do, to breathe a game world, to breathe life into a game world, is to get those passionate communities in. So that's the first, community. And then prizes. We think crypto is the best way to give out prizes on the internet right now. And we are working on our open prize system that's going to allow people to post their own rewards and have crazy competitions in Nifty. The last thing is user-generated content. Basically better incentives and better property rights around user-generated content. We think Web3 can enable all three of those things. And if we lean into those enough, plus some other stuff we have planned, we can make a game world that's like nothing else. It'll have no competition. It will just be something totally unique and new. That's the goal.
And because you are telling me about community and how strong Web3 is for the product you're developing, which I agree with what you have just said, but will islands be connected directly? Will I be able to jump from one island to the other directly? Or will I have to always go back into the browser to look for it?
So what you can do today is you can jump from island to island through the map in game, and you can do it through the island directory on our web app. So these are two ways of finding a cool island and jumping in. You can also find an island link on Twitter. Eventually, it would be cool if islands were like continuous, where you could just walk from one to the other or swim from one to the other. I'd love that. I think one day it will be the case. Right now, they're instances, so they're all kind of separate game lobbies.
Well, that's just like another level. What I meant is like, for example, you are leveraging a lot in communities. In fact, I want to speak about that later because I think now it's the other way around. Communities are leveraging out of Nifty Island, which is crazy how much you have grown. But what I mean is, if two communities make like a collaboration, and it would be great to have like a portal to communicate both islands, something like that. In game, maybe it's not the same instance, like one world, but something like that would be great.
Yes. So what we have today are portals. So you can place a portal on your island, and there's a couple bugs with it or things we're fixing, but generally what you should be able to do is place a portal on your island and link it to a friend's island. So you can do that. So if let's say you're in a community and you're kind of like the guy who likes to connect everybody, you could put portals to all your friends' islands on your island, and then people can jump to yours and then find all the best islands from it. So that does exist today. It's it has some improvements needed to it, but it exists.
Well, I haven't tried that yet, so I have to. Yeah, nice. I directly put the link into my Twitter and people come into my island. So that's basically how I'm playing. And I was speaking about community, which in my opinion, Web3, it's all about community. It's community pushing a whole product, a whole project. So at first, I've seen how you really smart, you leverage on huge NFT collections. But now what I have seen is that NFT collections are asking to join Nifty Island. Like it's the other way around. They're leveraging on Nifty Island. How does it feel, and what do you think about it? Because you have become, one of the top-notch, more weighted games of the year.
Thank you. It's kind of you. And I'll say, we think it's been a great start. We think we have so much to do and so much to improve. So it's almost like we're not even celebrating. We're just like completely focused on what's next. But I will say it's been really heartening. Like, it's great to see. The goal has always been to give all of these NFT communities superpowers, right? So it used to be that they all thought, oh, we have to make our own game. We have to make our own metaverse. It's so hard to do it. It's so difficult to do, and your probability of failure, of spending too much money, of not getting it done is really high. And we don't want to see NFT projects get into that situation where they're stuck promising this giant thing and they're struggling to deliver it, right? We think NFT project founders are amazing at rallying people together, getting them excited about something that's on chain, building a shared ethos and a brand and engaging those people. That's amazing. That's a superpower in itself. And so seeing people start to leverage it without even asking us, like they're doing regular game nights. Like Deadfellas has done some amazing game nights without even telling us. I've seen Kaiju Kings do the same. A kid called Beast is doing 3D art tutorials around it. Sappy Seals has gone crazy for the game. And this is all just happening because people, I think, are enjoying it and want to jump in. So, and they're interested in the Play-to-Airdrop campaign too. So yeah, no, it's been great. That feels really good. It's so nice to see that the game is actually useful for them. That is great.
Yeah, well, the Play-to-Airdrop, this kind of new way of getting an airdrop has been really, really good, not only for Nifty Island, I think for several games. Pixels is also having a huge impact by doing that. Why did you pick this method? To create engagement, for people to actually try the game, to find real gamers? What was the first vision when you decided this method of giving airdrop?
Yeah. So first, this method only works if you're really excited about Web3 users and players, right? Most people don't know what a token is. So for us, we're really excited about being the best game for Web3 enthusiasts and having everyone build with us and on top of us. And we want these players that want to actively build together with us. So for that group, a Play-to-Airdrop campaign is perfect. And the reason we did it this way, rather than like sell it or do like a kind of like a public sale or something like that, is it means the token is in the hands of people who love the game, ideally. Maybe not always and not perfectly, but generally it's people who are excited about it. So I see it a lot like, with Bitcoin or Ethereum, the first people to get these things were like, mining it in their college dorm room and believed in something big and exciting. And that's the kind of people we want to attract to Island Token. We want it to be this diehard group that says, hey, we're going to build a crazy new game world. We don't care if that seems impossible or difficult to do, but we're excited about it and we're going to do it together. And those are the people you want holding your token. Those are the people you want to be stakeholders in building something with you. You don't want to just give it to people who only want to trade, right? Trading's good, but trading is a lot more interesting when there's actual, people actually value something, right? It's
Yeah, so what you want to build is like actual real demand into the token. So people that involved into the product and really want to get into the token and to use it. So for that, and you mentioned this, you mentioned user-generated content. How much are users going to be able to customize the products they can build in? Will they be able to create whatever they want? For example, League of Legends is a huge game which came out of Warcraft. Is that a possibility into the Nifty Island?
Right. It will be. So currently what you can do as a player in terms of manipulating the game, changing it, you can do a lot with your island. So visually, you can change your island in all kinds of ways, and you can upload your own game-ready assets and create new tools for other users to build with. So that's what exists today. And you can also customize the game logic that we provide. So, hey, there's a team deathmatch, I'm going to customize it. Spy hunt, I'm going to customize it. An obstacle course, framework, I'm going to make my own obstacle course. What you'll see from us eventually is the ability to script your own games entirely, like things that don't exist at all that we've never thought of, and be able to launch your own games on top of Nifty. That is really where this gets super interesting. Is you're a game dev, you don't want to build, a whole game yourself. You have a cool idea. You also maybe don't know how to distribute it or market it. Suddenly, launch a game. Every island creator has access to it. They spread the word for you, and you're able to create something really fun for a lot of people. So,
at some point, you are building the framework to build on top. You are giving the tools, the marketing, the economy system, everything to be able to use your creativity to build something new on top, something which maybe not even you imagined was possible into Nifty Island. So everybody is, by joining, they will own at some point their own metaverse, something of this kind.
Yeah, I think that in certain respects, yes, that's what they'll have. But even in some ways, even better, it's about figuring out a way where everyone can create just a little piece. You know, it's all about like figuring out what are the right primitives, what are the right building blocks of this world, so that different people can contribute at what they're best at, right? So if you think about it like this, here's how I break it down. So Roblox today is sort of the model for UGC game worlds. If you're making a Roblox experience, you need to be an artist, you need to be a dev, you need to be a marketer, you need to do everything. That's actually a huge lift. It's so hard to do. Within Nifty, the future is maybe you can just be a game dev, and all you have to do, you don't have to make any art, you don't have to promote it, you just make some game logic that island creators try out and they spread and they build for you. If you're a game artist, you don't need to make a game. You can just make a sword or a gun or an avatar and people can use that. If you're a promoter, you can just promote. And so it's about taking this big idea of a game world and breaking it down into different pieces that people can contribute to so that people can do what they're best at. I don't know if that is too abstract or not, but that's really how I think about it, is figure out the building blocks so that people can engage in the things they're best at and everyone can contribute.
Yeah, I get it. I would say like you are simplifying, plus at the same time, you're improving like the Roblox method, you know? You can build on top, it's going to be easier. And even if you cannot complete the idea, maybe someone that grabs your idea will complete it for you. So it's sort of community development. The idea is too ambitious, but I have tried and I have played the game, and I think you can achieve it. I mean, the game as it is right now is really good, so I think you are in the right path. And one thing I wanted to ask you is, okay, we know the idea, we know what you want to build, but what's the role of Island Token in the project?
Great question. So yeah, I would say look at it like this. It really is about deep platform utility. It's a scarce commodity that gives you a preferred ability to utilize Nifty Island in various ways. First is all about if you want to make the best islands that are the most discoverable, the most fun, the biggest, they host the most players, holding Island Token is going to be your key to doing that. So you want to have the most amazing island in Nifty Island, you're going to want to hold Island Token. That's one. Two is around monetization. So you'll see us roll out more ways of turning your island into a little business, right? A way to make some money, a way to drive some income for yourself as a creator. The ways you'll be able to monetize your island, the plan is for Island Token to enhance that, basically allow you to monetize in better ways such that the platform takes less of a fee. So for that's one. And then the final thing I'll say is, if we become a launchpad for other games and you want access to all the best stuff that gets created, some sort of preferred access, imagine like an NFT drop that unlocks a new game, Island Token is going to be the way to make sure you have preferred access to all the best new stuff that comes out. So it really is a utility token. It really is a scarce commodity for people who love Nifty Island and want to make the best stuff and do the best stuff in it, and have the best experience. So that's the idea.
And going deeper into the economy, I'm going to ask you about your business model. How will you earn money? How will Nifty Island Company earn money? And how will you do it without like just dumping island? What's your business model?
Definitely. Super important. And it's one that I actually, if you're watching this and you have feedback, let me know, because I think it's so often a topic where players and studios diverge in a bad way. And you want to make sure that you're monetizing in a way that's good for the platform. So few things. I would say in general, what you're going to see is the marketplace is going to develop a lot. The marketplace is in its infancy. And what you'll see is us taking fees on what's traded there, what's sold there. And the stuff that gets sold there is going to get bigger and more interesting and cooler. You'll see crazy game art drops, eventually maybe game modes and joint offerings with other groups where it's like, hey, we made a whole game and you can buy access to it here. And so that marketplace is really going to be the heart and soul of Nifty Island's monetization. There's some other stuff we have planned, like I really want to do skill-based in-game wagering. Like you and I want to battle each other, and maybe I bet 0.1 ETH, you bet 0.1 ETH, and the platform takes a fee. That's an interesting one to me. And then there's some microtransactions we can do that allow people to move faster and not have to farm as many blooms to make cool stuff. So I'd say those are the big categories.
Okay, and just to move into like other aspect of the game, because we talked about the game, about the economy of the game, your business model. Now, the network, the blockchain, where is gonna be living Nifty Island? I mean, I'm pretty connected to the running community. We really want you there into the running network, but I don't know if that's a thing. It's a possibility. What are the plans for the blockchain?
Yeah, so I think the key thing, and I think for some people in the running community specifically, like this is maybe a little different and it's just something to think about, but I hope that people can understand where we're coming from. So for us, we think it's so important to be a big tent, right? There aren't enough people who are excited about crypto today to pick a faction, right? Like if we say, oh, only Solana or something, or only Arbitrum or only Ronin, it's not quite big enough. We feel if you're excited about things that are on chain, we want you to play Nifty. And so for us, we're chain agnostic fundamentally. Like we right now we support ETH-L1, Polygon, and Base. We want to add more chains, and that means three things. It means if you own, say a Bodogo on Solana, or you own, say, like an Axie on Ronin, we would love. The goal is for you to be able to take these things into Nifty. So that's one function. The other stuff is the marketplace. We think that should be chain agnostic. If you love Ronin, if you love Solana, if you love Arbitrum, whatever, Immutable, you should be able to make UGC wherever you want. It's not up to us which chain you should make it on. And then the last thing is quests and prizes and potentially future wagering stuff. We think that should be chain agnostic too. So yeah, the game is a tool for people who are excited about on-chain stuff, and we want to use whatever chains you guys love. And if one chain ends up being the most popular, if it ends up being Ronin or whatever else, then I think that's great. Like, go for it, But it's not for us to decide.
Have you thought of making like your own chain?
I think it's like vaguely, but it's not for me. There's just so many other problems to address, and I think we have enough chains. That's my view. I feel like we have enough chains.
Chains keep coming out and coming out and coming out. And every single year we have new chains. Even in bear market, there's always new chains.
You're right. No, people love making them, and maybe I'm wrong about it. Maybe we need more chains. I don't know. My view right now has been that like crypto's been in this place where there's tons of infrastructure and tons of chains and tons of things that like support applications, but there aren't enough applications right now that are just really fun and tangible, and anyone can look at it and say, oh, this looks fun. So like really my focus is so much more on figuring out the fun and figuring out how to make blockchains exciting than it is about building blockchains. That's just me, maybe one day I'm open to it, but it's not something that's on my mind, really. Yeah,
well, at some point what I see is we need more product built in the chains than more chains, because right now, everybody's launching chains.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong, new technology is amazing. For example, Celestia, the modular chain, this is something completely new into the ecosystem. I love it, but at some point I see that one chain is like similar to the previous one, and we need more product, not more chains. That's basically how I see Web3 in general. So
I agree.
Just to close, give me your view on Web3 gaming for the next years. In general, do you see it growing? What's your view on Web3 gaming?
Good question. Yeah, I have a pretty specific view on this. So I think right now there are two big theses out there about how people think Web3 gaming is going to progress. So one is a sort of Web 2.5 thesis, which is games are going to look pretty much the same as what they looked like before, but there's a little bit of blockchain kind of dust sprinkled on them, right? It's sort of, I have a game, it's it's turn-based, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example that doesn't call anyone out. Let's say it's like Super Smash Bros, but the characters are NFTs, or like it's similar to an old game, but they're NFTs.
Like a hybrid, something like that.
Yeah, hybrid. Yeah. And the blockchain's sort of subtle and like not a big deal in the experience, right? That's one thesis. The other thesis is that Web3 is going to change video games. Video games are going to look really different. They're going to be way more interesting. They're going to be more community driven, more prizes, more UGC. They're just going to be more open and wild. That's what I'm excited about. I think the Web 2.5 thesis is going to have a lot of trouble, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's my view, is that if we don't make things that are radically new and fun, it's really hard to compete because guess what? Rockstar is good at making GTA. Call of Duty is pretty damn good as is. Like, it's really hard to compete against these incumbents, and we need to do things that are radically new and different. And I think Web3 gaming will succeed, and over the course of this year can do really well if there are just a few. It doesn't take many. It just takes a few companies to do something truly novel and push really hard on it. And so that's my view on Web3 gaming. I'm not just like bullish on the whole thing, but I think if you do something, I'm bullish on new ideas that feel radically exciting. That's the idea.
I share your vision. My only question, I'm always asking this to myself: how do you manage bear markets? Because the money side of Web3 gaming, it's inevitable. It's there. It exists. And for example, like the traditional games, it's like a black hole where money goes in and it will never come out. So no one cares. If I'm playing, I know I'm gonna lose money because I'm eventually gonna buy a special box, some gems, some skin, some weapon. It depends on the game, and you do not expect to have an income out of that. Everybody, when playing a Web3 game, is speculating. At the same time, it's an actual game. You're enjoying your time. It's a great game because right now, really great games are coming out. But at the same time, that what you are using has actual value. So everything is okay while we are in a bull market. But how will you manage, how will you handle all the food once the bear market comes? Because it will come.
Yeah. No, it's such an important thing. And there's no easy answer to that, right? So I can't say one thing that's going to, solve it. But what I'll say is this. Like, we are always going to be laser focused on making the best product possible and catering to our users as deeply as possible. And I think what you don't want to do is get distracted by optics, get distracted by making big, insane promises about a token or anything. What you'll notice with us is I'm pretty much full transparency. Like this, I'll tell you exactly what we plan on doing, and I'll tell you exactly what we're doing and what it is. And if you're excited about it, get on board. But you're not going to hear me saying like, it's like, something big and abstract. Like, I'll just tell you exactly what we're going to try to do. And so for me, I see it as like, in a bull market, people tend to take on leverage in all kinds of hidden, sneaky ways they don't even think about, right? And they get themselves into trouble. I'm really going to try to avoid that in every way possible for me. It's like, I will talk about things that are really happening, that we're really doing. You can play the game today, you can judge it. The token is what it is. I'm not going to, and I think it's great. I love it. I think it's going to be the most fun token ever. That's my goal for it. But I'm just not going to try to I'm going to try my best not to overpromise, and we're going to try to over deliver. And we're going to make sure that Nifty Island is in a great place where it survives for a long time. That's what I can say. We're just going to move carefully. Yeah.
It's sure going to be where you want to be because, I don't know the whole team. I just know you, but you are really involved in the game. Guys, for real, he's really involved in the game. Always, I'm speaking with him, he's like 100% his time committed into the game. So that's what I liked about Nifty Island. When I first had a call with you, some time ago, it was like, wow, this guy is really involved. He was in a rush, but he still gave me time. This is the second time, maybe third that we speak. And being in a rush and everything, like really busy, he still gives me like some time to make an interview, to make my questions. He always answers on Telegram. Wow, that's a committed team. So thanks for your time again. I don't want to rob you more. It has been more than 20 minutes. That was a promise. We have exceeded the 20 minutes. So thanks so much. I hope to have you again in the channel.
That we'll do it. I promise you we'll do another.
And for sure you will see more content around Nifty Island in my channel.
Fantastic. This was a pleasure. Great questions, and excited to do more together.
Thank you, Charles. See ya.
Yeah.
Bueno, chicos, ahí lo tenían la entrevista con Charles. Me parece que estuvo bueno, que pudimos preguntar de todo, desde, como les dije al principio, desde lo inicial de qué es Nifty Island hasta su modelo de negocio. Coméntenme si les gustó el concepto de hacer entrevistas y también si les gustaría que traiga a fundadores o CEOs de otros proyectos. Hay un montón ahora impresionantes. Nifty Island es uno de los más grandes. Tenemos Pixel, tenemos Mavi, hay un montón de juegos top. Si les gusta el concepto, una vez cada 15 días o algo similar podría ir trayendo diferentes exponentes del medio. Chicos, esto fue todo. Espero que les haya gustado. Les mando un saludo. Chao, chicos.